Hey people, so I just got back from Happy Death Day to you, and Hey people, so I just got back from Happy Death Day to... Did I do this video already? Nah, must have been a dream or something. Not a dream, not a dream! Left! Oh, come on! Hey guys, so No, this did happen before. I'm trapped in a time loop. Just like the movie. No, I gotta be sure, I'm just freaking out. It's nothing to... Yep, okay, time loop. Okay, oh, son of a bitch!
Hello ladies and gentlemen and movie lovers of all kind, and welcome back to another new release review. And for today, we will be covering Happy Death Day 2U. So Happy Death Day 2U is directed by Christopher Landon, stars Jessica Rothe, Israel Broussard, and 5U. The story this time around takes place shortly after the events of the first Happy Death Day, in which we believe that Tree has broken her time loop. But we soon come to find out that Carter's friend Ryan has now been trapped in his own time loop, which sends things spiraling out of control. To kick off the positives, guys, is going to be the star of these films, and that is Jessica Rothe, because she is one of the best modern-day final girls. She's a total badass, she has great comedic talent, and she has amazing emotional prowess. This girl has it all, and she definitely carries these two movies on her shoulders. Next up is the supporting cast. Although I did say that Jessica Rothe does primarily carry these films on her shoulders, she does have some help. Whether it's old faces or new faces, the talent here is very prominent. They add very nicely to the comedic moments, very nicely to the emotional moments as well, and they do contribute to the story quite a bit more than they did in the first one. Next is the comedy in this movie, because although it's kind of marketed as a horror flick, I really do feel like it's primarily comedy. It's almost like Scream, but if Scream went full-blown comedy, rather than having more darker moments in there. And the comedy lands very nicely, whether it's more sort of slapstick stuff, jokes that are supposed to make you laugh, or when the characters have to kill themselves.
Genius idea.
As we know from the events of the first movie, that's how you get the day to restart. If you mess something up, you just off yourself and you start over again, and the characters find very colorful and very creative and comedic ways to do this. Also, the horror elements in this movie are very strong. I say more so action horror in this movie than the first one, because now Tree and company know that, hey, you don't have to be scared, just go out there and kick ass. So there is still those kind of, you know, closed hallway in the basement horror-esque moments, but for the most part, the characters aren't so vulnerable now. They know to take weapons with them, whether it's an axe, a baseball bat, or in some cases a gun, so those moments are ones that also shine through. Next is something that just is me being me, and that is the Back to the Future, primarily Part 2 references that are made in this movie. It did seem like the score in this movie at times was kind of trying to replicate that score, that iconic score that we get from the Back to the Future movies, because it kind of was almost a variation, a different take. It almost took that same route that Back to the Future Part 2 did. They were handled very politely, and I thought it was a nice little touch to the movie. And lastly, for the positives, is this movie is just plain fun. It's not too over the board, like beat you over the head comedy, and nor is it trying to be this huge new scary horror franchise that's gonna make billions of dollars. No, it knows what it is. It's just these self-contained little horror flicks that are this nice one little story spread across two films, and it's just very nice fun. And now for the negatives, and there's only really one negative, and it's a pretty big one, and that is the fact that the movie does just get a little bit over the top sometimes, a little bit too over-bloated with its own story. I don't really feel like how the time loop happened really did pay off a whole lot in this movie, and I feel like the story is where it's kind of lacking. Now, I like the characters, I like how they come together, the mission that they're on, all that stuff is fine and dandy, but the actual general story that is at the heart of this movie with the whole, you know, how did the time loop happen, how do we break it, how do we do this, I feel like that at times just becomes a little too over the top, comes a little, you know, it gets a little bit too much inside of its own head, and I feel like that's where the movie really falters. With all that being said though, guys, I found Happy Death Day 2 to be quite a pleasant sequel. I enjoyed the first one for the same reason I enjoyed this one, and I do recommend checking it out if you enjoyed the first movie. So I'm going to be giving Happy Death Day 2U a 7.5 out of 10. If you like this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what were your thoughts on Happy Death Day 2U. And be sure to check me out on social media. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links will be in the description and at the end of the video. As always, thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap.
I love watching the LEGO movies. You know, every time I do, I just feel like a kid again. I'm gonna go home and build a bunch of cool stuff.
I wonder if I could dig out some of my old sets.
Ugh.